The dust is really affecting us. We have to always cover our food with nets. The government should come to our aid.
The
sad part of this short-lived project is that the uncovered dugout trenches left abandoned by the contractor has been posing danger to the townfolks claiming victims, especially women and children. There are numerous victims, some with serious impairment, currently at the hospitals, with a lady victim at the theater and emergency unit of the Komfanoche Theater. We certainly cannot be enthused with this development.
For Joy News, Emmanuel Bright Kweku reporting.
And that last voice you heard is the chief of Mampontin, who was worried about the 5.5-kilometer road awarded to a contractor by government in 2019, but had been abandoned. So today, when President Akufo-Addo spent some time at Otek FM in Kumasi as part of his tour of the Ashanti region, the issue of roads in the region was top on the agenda. Now, this was his response to the cry of the people, especially those in Kwabre who have been baring their teeth at the MP and also the government. Listen.
I don't think there's been a road minister who has a record like Oshiamu Akwata. Yeah, he may be here, and I'll say it anywhere. There's nobody. I want anybody to come and tell me one road minister in our country has put together the package of roads that Oshiamu Akwata has produced in these 6 years that we've been in office. Unprecedented.
So, Omafo Kwabre, Manso, and an important.
Yeah, but when it is so, because you're quite in one stage. I'm sorry to have to say. Then you say, make us say, Obi dear here, sing Obi dear here. But at the same time, see, you see, some so you know, and Manibani say, you're quite in at one go. Good. Maybe by Ghana for Mahama. When you say expression, or see infrastructure development in his time was unprecedented.
Unprecedented, yes.
Remember, very soon after we buy an MCA call round, see, I want to bring a certain new dimension to governance in Ghana. And my for who say, yes, with the Miracle Ghana being your so. And so no, mean to me, the office. All the time. Let me show the cause. I said, Miss Memo.
Now, shed the
make sure that performs to me not much as only making.
It didn't come on the
shed the cause. But Biamako, Bessine, acquiring that could be Ubiado. Everybody is complaining about roads. So it becomes obvious to me that they can't change.
There's unprecedented, no, who said,
Nanya no crack. Means you because of what? So Penny Musa, so because
Nanya no crack, no boy, the same.
Well, they're not the same. Chicas are there. Chicas are Bakumbu. Yeah, but you have these things. I sent a memoir. The number of road projects that have been completed, 86 projects.
Wow.
Involving 1,850 kilometers of roads. Asphalted, reconstructed, repaved, etc. in this period. And then there's still another 310 projects which have been awarded and ongoing, which is going to bring into the basket another 3,800 kilometers of roads. Now you have ministers who have performed in this manner. Kumasi, 100 kilometers of roads have been done in our period here. Asphaltic overlay, over 300 kilometers of asphaltic overlay in roads in the.
So that is President Akufo-Addo there. His response to the issue of roads in the Ashanti region, and of course touting his record. You also heard him extol the roads minister for the work that he's done. He says that is unprecedented. But when asked the question about threats of voting against the NPP in 2024 because they have failed to simply deliver on the promise of better roads, here's what he said.
Adesrede a yɛde fa so de ama nana ɛne sɛ ɔmanfoɔ kɔ abere ɛne manso yɛnim sɛ kɔ aberefoɔ wode hwɛ voting pattern ɔmo to aba dodoɔ paa de ma nana ɔmo sɛ menka nkyerɛ president so ɔmo akwan no sɛ president anya ama wɔ mo a na sɛ bɛyɛ ɔmo ya paa. Now 2024, on betua Baletia NPP.
No problem.
You do it.
I'm saying, people make those kind of threats. Me, they don't frighten me.
Okay.
Somebody votes for you, somebody supports you. It's because they want you to do things for them. So I understand that. There's no need for people to go to Manya say. I don't want to answer. Of course, mayor. About decided to am NDC. I was a man, you know, massa. Obi songs and in Timsu baby. And they are wow. The important thing is that we have a responsibility. I understand the responsibility, and we will deal with it.
Let's go to the phone lines now and speak to the Ashanti Regional Secretary of the governing New Patriotic Party, Kwame Adumapia. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on Top Story. We also have with us the ranking member on the Roads and Transport Committee of Parliament, Kwame Governs Abuja. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Let me start with you, Mr. Abuja. First of all, your quick reaction to the president's response to the people of Kwabri. Essentially, he says, well, there are issues all over the country. And if you choose to vote for the NDC because of that, that is up to you. That is your own problem. But I understand that I have to deliver. Is that not a fair response?
Well, first of all, good evening to you and your cherished listeners. We welcome all those who are frustrated, angry, who feel cheated, who feel lied to by the New Patriotic Party and would like to vote for NDC. They are all welcome so that we can build a better Ghana. I have never seen an arrogant president like President Akufo-Addo. Ashanti region is the second largest region in Ghana. I thought the president said in Parliament he built 10,800 kilometers of new roads. How come when he was accounting to the people of Ashanti, he said they've done 1,000 something kilometers of roads, which include asphaltic overlay, reshaping, resealing, and all those things. So, first of all, President Akufo-Addo has confirmed that his comment to Parliament that he built 10,000 new kilometers of new roads, he cannot prove it.
No, but the 1,850, which is an update on what the Ashanti Regional Minister gave a few months ago. That was in August, actually. It's just for the Ashanti region, not the entire country.
Yes, I'm saying that Ashanti region is the largest region. If they actually build 10,800 kilometers of road, Ashanti region should see a significant number of roads. But even the breakdown of the 1,000 plus he's talking about includes routine and periodic maintenance on roads. Yes, asphaltic overlay, we approved a loan in Parliament for about 100 kilometers of asphaltic overlay in Kumasi. I keep saying this. Under the NDC, asphaltic overlay was happening at all regional capitals. In fact, beyond regional capitals to some districts. Today, the only asphaltic overlay in some regions is less than 1 kilometer. So what is the president talking about? And the president talked about unprecedented development in Ashanti region. My brother, let's take a stock of this. Can the president tell me one polyclinic he has started and completed in 6 years? One secondary school he has started and completed in the 6 years. One university he has started and complete in the 6 years. Where are the roads he's talking about that he's built everywhere, yet all members of parliament, including myself, are under siege by our constituents demanding new roads? Is he aware that the NDC was under IMF when we actually sought funds to build Terminal 3 at Kotoka, which he refused to commission? In fact, very soon he will be attempting to commission the Kumasi Airport. Is he aware that we were under IMF when we started that. Obesity, we were under IMF when we sought funding for the first phase. Second interchange, we were under IMF. And guess what? There's no government in this country who has taken on so much in terms of revenue through taxes and everything, loans and everything than President Akufo-Addo. But as we speak, President Akufo-Addo cannot point to 100 or 200 kilometers of new roads he's built. So he can be praising himself, and I feel very sad for Asante-Man that President Akufo-Addo will be on radio station in Ashanti region, a region that actually made you president, and will not be repentant in Naviselo, Mupa, to NDC. In fact, NDC doesn't get much vote in Ashanti region, but whatever we get, we appreciate. But we invest. In fact, we have the largest investment in healthcare in Ashanti region. As of 2016, almost $1 billion of healthcare projects were going on in Ashanti region alone. Talk about roads, talk about airports, talk about everything. We didn't do those things because Ashanti region was our strongest but because we felt it was necessary. It was the second largest city. Look at Kumasi market. Look at the investment we made. And when you go to Kumasi, instead of basically piping down, apologizing to the people of this country with the excruciating hardship you've imposed on the Asante-Man, you sit down there and tell them that I've done better than everybody. If you like, you can go and vote for NDC.
The president says that. I mean, he says his record is unprecedented. He disagrees with your position on this. But you talk about the fact that the records that he's provided are not consistent with what was given to Parliament. Is that something that you intend to take up further? We have already stripped President Akufo-Addo naked in terms of his untruth about the road sector. The truth is that he's lacking even on routine maintenance. Do you know that the whole of 2021, 2022, even reshaping is not happening in our district? Not even reshaping. And let me give you some statistics. This government took over from NDC. Some cocoa roads were 98% complete. They set up a committee to investigate those projects. As we speak, they have not been able to issue a report. They paid somebody illegally to do the investigation. Today, all they said was that NDC awarded about 5 billion cedis worth of roads under Cocoa Road. Today, they have awarded 14 billion cedis worth of roads. In fact, the indebtedness in the road sector is approaching 50 billion. That is equivalent to the whole appropriation bill of 2016. And today, he's saying that they have started more road projects than everybody. Where are the completed roads he's talking about? Mr. Abdullah, kindly hold the line for me. Let me get the thoughts of the Ashanti region NPP, what they make of the president's response to their people, especially when the president has made it clear that in 2024, he hopes to hand over to the candidate from his party, whoever the party will settle on come 2025, eventually in January. Let's speak to the regional secretary, Kwame Adomapia. Thank you very much for your time here on Top Story. I mean, the reaction in the Kwabri East constituency, as we are learning, has been that of disappointment. We spoke to some of the leaders of the youth group that organized that demonstration 2 months ago. For them, the comments of the president is unfortunate. Is the party worried with this development?
Good evening to your listeners. First of all, I would like Mr. Agbaja to calm down because the facts speak for themselves. It's not about you trying to trace the facts that would hold. There is nothing wrong that the president has said about the Kwabri East road situation in Mansour and other areas. I can tell you, please you may put it on record, that by next month, by the end of next month, you may see contractor tackling Kwabri roads.
Which part of Kwabri?
And if not, Kwabri East.
Kwabri is and I ask this because there's a 5.5.
Kwabri is of course is a major road area that we talk about in Ashanti region, because we know that Kwabri is a huge constituency for MPP in Ashanti region. And for that matter, we are not oblivious of the fact that their roads are not good.
Mr. Adamapia, just a minute. I'm asking this question because I just need this clarity before you move on. The issue, the promise you're giving, we need the clarity so that we could just follow up eventually. I know that there's a 5.5 kilometer of road that's already been awarded on contract. This was done in 2019. In fact, the president himself was there during the groundbreaking ceremony. The chief in the sound we played was not happy that that road has been abandoned. Is that the same road you're talking about, or this? There
is not a single road. Kwabri East does not have a single road. It is interconnected. So if you talk about Kwabri East, it's not that we are going to do one stretch of road and then we are finished with that. Kwabri East is going to get their fair share. But first of all, let me ask this question. The way Mr. Honorable Gbaja is speaking, it looks as if they did all the roads, and when they were going, they packed them away. The roads, if they were done, would we be talking about roads now? We had a president who came to Ashanti region and told us emphatically that as Ashanti region, if you use gold even to tie your roads for it, you won't be grateful. We have a president who has given us much roads than any other government under this Fourth Republic. And I can name them for you one by one. Take it from Brewery Junction to Lake Road, Duanais Road. Take it from Anyankwanta to Obuasi. Take it from Anyankwanta to Kumasi. We had a president, and let me mention it. We have a president, let me mention it. And the late Professor Murph, he came to Sofoline Interchange. Having inspected the roads, he told us that I am afraid of the Great Ashanti project. What was the meaning of that? They left the road untouched. It is Nana Akufo-Addo who has started constructing the road after 8 years that they were in office. And then you are telling me that the president is ungrateful to Ashanti region. No. We here in Ashanti region, we know they are playing their cards. Let's incite the people of Ashanti region against the president. But that is not going to watch my brother.
No. But you heard the president today. I'm not sure it's about inciting the people. Mr. Adamapia, the president today said that he's not frightened by the threat of votes by the people. In fact, when the question was put about they crying about their roads, he says they would have to cry because there are roads elsewhere to be fixed.
I told you that. That's why I told you that. What the president has said, it is not that he said anything that ought not to have been said. I've already told you that by the close of next month, end of next month, you realize that contractors will be on that road. You see, when people get information, they want to twist the information to their favor, as if we had not issued a threat, the president wouldn't have done our road for us. The president is saying that you are free to vote. Who in Ghana under the Fourth Republic can force somebody to vote for him? We know that we owe you because you voted for us. But if you are going to issue a threat, let's not use threats as a bargaining chip.
Mr. Adamapia, answer this question for me. You don't consider the president's comment as a snub on the people of Kwabri East?
No.
And you do not think this will affect your fortunes come 2024?
No, let me tell you this thing. Or let me ask you this question. Did the president concede that the roads needs to be done or not? The president conceded that we have to do the roads. But we here in Ghana, before 2016 elections, we had a president who told us that the president was sleeping. That is why he was complaining about roads, because when the current president visited any constituency, then all that they were asking for that fix our road for us. And then when the president commented on the campaign platform, there was a rebuttal from former President Mama. He told that he was sleeping. That is why he did not see the roads. If the roads were done,
I want you to listen to this sound.
How come that the roads are not there within just 6 years.
I want you to listen to this sound. It is the sound of the Trade and Industry Minister, Alan Chemantin, who a few minutes ago was actually speaking to the people and actually pleading, urging them to vote for the NPP come 2024. Now, some have said that he had to do this, if you want, damage control, because, of course, he's one of the people interested in leading the party come 2024. Just listen to this, and then I'll get your reaction to that.
Obaye wamfa bibia anye agwo mfidie ndwuma ye ka ho asemi one district one factory sawusha ye ka say by ohamiensa almost 300 factories ana yewra madahoma waso businessmen ase ama yatimi adiatin team all over the country. Ashanti region yenjamumu Mwabeja South House yenjamumu mususu manya muchefa. The crowd is saying, and one is say, sir, a commander ye no, yen Anna yenim say, Samoma yembre akamo na ya 12 manuswa. Yaboma modiana. Ya near the aquanim said the Baya, a human bibaba, nay another any Manu or Benya Biaye. And a man swan, I distract na Montra money and share MPP, a buying of Adamas.
Isn't the difference so stark in terms of the communication? You hear Alan Chemantin appeal to the people, unlike what the president said, and that has been the concern. You do not agree that the manner in which the president communicated, definitely, if taken on by the opposition, will be right and may, if this continues, may affect the fortunes of the party.
What type of dance by a chick will please the hawk? My brother, I want to know what type of dance by a chick will please the hawk. No matter how the chick dances, the hawk will still pick it. So what you are talking about, NDC, they want to trace fast. The facts are there. In fact, let's consider this. The president stated the truth as he ought to have done it. That please don't use trades to demand for it's obviously yours.
Right.
We are going to do it before, and we have what people seem to forget is that we have a mandate to deliver within 4 years. So
but you've done 6 years already.
No, please.
Well, I mean, we've done 2 years out of the last 4.
Let me make my point. We have a mandate to deliver within 4 years. The first 4 years is gone. Another 4 years is here. We spent about two years. If at the end of the day we have not delivered on our promises to the people of Kwabri East Mampontin area, then you have a case. But you are making it to look as if that the 4 years has ended today. The 4 years has not. The 4 years. The 4 year term has not ended today.
Well, Mr. Kwame Adumapia, that's all time will allow us for now. I'm grateful that you could join us. We'll be following up on this promise that you made to the people of Kwabre eventually to find out if they will get their roads delivered. But let me just pick the thoughts of Dr. Amwakotufor, who is a political scientist and also a member of the governing MPP. Doc, what do you make of the utterances of the president, specific regards to his response to the people of Kwabre?
Well, just a correction. It's Amwakuba, not Amwakutufor.
Thank you very much.
Amwakutufor has gone to his good place.
Apologies.
Well,
thank you.
It's very interesting. Look, if you're a town, you have bad roads, would you rather have it fixed in 2 years or 6 years? That man who is speaking, he just did in defensive mode. But you don't do that. When the thing is obvious, don't try to say something else. The point is, this is not the first time the president has spoken this way. And it's precisely because he's not running for re-election. What is wrong with saying, okay, I know you're angry, we are late in doing the thing for you, but please, bear with me, we'll do it. We'll come back, I will come back here and cut the sword, and I'll shake you, the chief, I'll shake you. Then we'll clap for you. What is wrong with that? What he's doing is endangering the fortunes of MPP in 2024. As if he has no stake in it. So he says anything. He said this several times. It is not good. He came, when he came first, when he was running, he was telling people, This same person is the one talking like this now. No, it's not appropriate.
Dr. Van, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. That's all for Top Story, brought to you by Vodafone. Further together, Ernest, Manu. Up next is Newsnight with Blessed Sogah. After these messages, please stay with us.
Tell you, some things can be very painful, like hitting your toe against the corner of a table. Or a failed cash transaction because of insufficient funds. But that's where Vodafone Cash Overdraft will help you shop life regardless. Vodafone Cash Overdraft is the latest innovation that adds to your Vodafone Cash wallet when your balance is not enough to pay for your Vodafone transactions. Just dial *110#, select option 5 to opt in. Now, let's say you won't buy 50 cedis monthly data, where you get only 30 cedis for your Vodafone Cash wallet. You will get a notification saying you can access additional funds to complete your transaction. You accept the offer, done. Overdraft. Oh, say yeah.
Oh, yeah. The new Vodafone Cash Overdraft service allows you to access additional funds to complete your Vodafone Cash transaction. Be it paying for your broadband subscription, buying airtime or mobile data, or even sending money. Terms and conditions apply.
Vodafone.
At Enterprise Life, it's possible to live your best life. Ladies, enjoy cover for your lifestyle with Bloom Life Insurance for today's woman. Families, let's safeguard your well-being with a family income security plan, because family matters. And for you, live freely with our Funeral Finance Plan Unlimited, with no restrictions, no limits, as you cover your loved ones and yourself. WhatsApp us on 0554 001 924 or call 0307 084 444 for your solution. Enterprise, your advantage.
Hello there and welcome to Newsnight. And coming up in this edition tonight,
yesterday is only Gary TZ that we have taken, and it is affecting our learning.
Every day they are giving us only Gary. It makes some of us running diarrhea and fever.
Some of it we haven't eaten before, if not yet.
Nothing is going on in the.
Stay with us as we hear from leadership of GPRTU. And tonight the story on Galamsey continues. Religious leaders are taking on chiefs who allow Galamsey to fester in their jurisdictions as they wage war against illegal mining, calling on chiefs to do more.
The deleterious impact on our food and cash crops are so bad that some countries like Japan requires extra testing of our cocoa products before they can be accepted on their market. We have become living, dead, polluted, walking Ghanaians.
We have details as they lament the devastating impact of Galamsey on the environment, saying Ghanaians have become, just as you heard, living dead, polluted citizens. We'll get you the latest. We'll also speak live with a member of the Christian Council, also coming up in business.
Food and Beverages Association to join Ghana Union of Traders Association, that's GUTA, to close their shops on Wednesday in protest of difficult economic conditions in the country.
Who has described as warring the suspension of the Ghana Premier League.
We also have the National Science and Maths Quiz coming up. Well, the contest is still on. The pride of the Central Region's coast, that's St. Augustine's College, that shines the glory of the coast at Chimota School to qualify for the quarterfinals of the National Science and Maths Quiz. My name is Blessed Sogah, and thanks for joining us tonight. The Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, CHAS, is calling for the immediate scrapping of the buffer stock system to schools following inconsistent supply of food to the various institutions. Now, CHAS wants the Free SHS Secretariat to rechannel these funds directly to the schools to perform these roles. The school heads say this has become necessary following complaints from headmasters across the country about the inadequate food supplies, which is affecting learning. We'll bring you details of the just ended conference of CHAS, where these and other critical issues on the education front came up. But first, listen to students from the Wale Wale Vocational and Technical Institute in the Northeast region who claim they are being fed raw gari and rice without stew over the past 3 weeks. Listen to some of the students.
The food that they are giving us, we don't like it. Everyday gari. And stomach pains. If you take it, your stomach will be paining you.
We are not getting enough food. And some of us, we don't have food in our chop boxes. We don't even have money to buy food and eat. You just manage it that way. All this, it always affects us. And some of them, they will eat the gari and say that their testes and what is paining them.
5 hours, you will not be able to attend the class. You will be inside suffering.
Fortunately, there's a swift reaction from the Ministry of Education, which is tonight rebutting the claims, indicating that senior high schools have adequate supply to feed pupils for the academic term. Speaking on Peace FM, Education Minister Dr. Yao Educhum indicated that the buffer stock has responded to the urgent need for food stuff by the schools. Listen.
Minya, the meeting I catch on the school being a hobbit in a cast of Monsanke, a few now, Chemu, and then now Chewy, school beyond Saketiani, and Che Biana Mrs. Ukrapamai, world school. Almost back castle, my friend headmaster, I was saying one. No, and Kualanu Didi and Prince Adaku. Intenya no cre, Sabi Bisa is you. Minya, Abatimi, let our tray, voter region. Coordinator of Free Senior High School. Also, I'm the Adriania Comao. Intermediate Hamen, we are headmaster of our team. Now, so better crata. Now, the Obuapa de Abetuabontana. So, on Sakadiania, I now want to crata from the Catam and Sakadian. No, my dada no announce one which remono, and social media.
So that's the sector minister, Dr. Yao Educhum. My colleague, Richard Kojo has been monitoring a lot of events with regard to the CHAS conference, where he'll be bringing us details of what the critical matters are tonight. But, Richard, let's get into the details of what it is that the education minister was just saying a while ago. He was speaking in Chui, so just explain that for our audience who may not really understand the import of his statement.
Well, the minister says that there is no school which has not been supplied with foodstuffs, and he expects those heads of the schools who wrote letters suggesting there is imminent food shortages should do the honorable thing to update the public what the supplies they have received. No school has been shut down, according to him, as a result of the reported challenges there. And so that is what the minister has been saying.
So categorically, the minister is denying that there's an imminent shortage in all schools. But we know that the Conference of Heads of our sister schools are equally concerned about the situation on campus. They've just wrapped up a meeting, correct? Give us a breakdown of some of the key issues coming up.
Well, so some of the key issues, let's first start with the National Buffer Stock Company. And they said that the role of the National Buffer Stock Company in the supply of food to schools in itself is problematic in the smooth implementation of the Free Senior High School policy. CHAS recommends, therefore, that a buffer stock system, considering all the attendant problems associated with its role in the supply of food to schools, must be scrapped immediately. And the Free Senior High School Secretariat should rechannel those funds directly to the schools to perform those roles. This would reduce the extra stress of heads struggling to even appeal to suppliers to supply food on behalf of the Buffer Stock Company, looking for non-existent funds to travel over various distances to cut food to our schools, dealing with undersupplies and underweight supplies, over-invoicing and even intimidation by some suppliers. Mention must also be made of the fact that there are times some schools are denied of their food items when the heads insist on the right things to be done, and they move on to the issue of cost sharing, and they said the government should consider the issue of cost sharing theory. It's become a abundantly clear that government alone cannot totally foot the cost of education. Government must therefore offset some of the cost to parents and guardians. Just recommends that the component to offset to parent must include and not necessarily limited to the feeding of students.
And Richard, we need to be clear if indeed there are timelines to this, because the earlier letter that the minister was referring to came from the Volta region, correct? How soon will the heads of these institutions want an immediate solution to this? Have they given some timelines?
Well, they have not indicated any timelines on this, but they have some recommendation, and they want the GS to immediately make available to the schools revised quantities of food for schools to avoid the usual confrontations between heads and their matrons. And Charles also wants to reiterate and restate its request to the Ministry of Education and GS to always ensure the timeous and adequate releases of funds, not only the money for perishables, but also money for recurrent expenditure to schools to enable them not just to function, but to function effectively.
Do we know if there are alternatives in terms of how they would want the food items to be distributed? Because they were running a system where the heads of the various schools were in charge of suppliers. I mean, crediting them and trying as much as possible to get the best people who supply and reliable people who supply food to the schools. Are they giving us a sense of what alternatives they may want or they may need in terms of correcting or redressing the food shortage on campus?
Well, so you know that hitherto, I mean, the heads were taking responsibility over the feeding of the or supply of the food items to feed the students. But now they want that thing to be reverted. The current situation should be reverted. Charles is calling on government to seriously consider the timely and adequate release of funds to the day schools. Their only source of government funding is only one source, the money for recurrent expenditure, and any delay in their releases renders them very incapable of moving on. And so these are some of the things Charles is putting out in their communique.
Have they touched on, finally, on the free senior high school policy itself? Because, mind you, the feeding component is ingrained in the policy. Have they attempted to touch on the policy and what else should be done to the policy as it stands now?
Well, so what they have said about the free senior high school is the cost sharing they are sharing with government. They say that government cannot shoulder the responsibility alone, and they want parents to partake in the funding of the free senior high school.
And I'm grateful that you've been able to break all of that down for us. Richard Kojo, my colleague there, monitoring the just ended CHAS engagement, where the heads of their sister schools are asking government to scrap the buffer stock system in terms of supplying food to the schools. They want the funds directly to be channeled into the institutions. I want to bring in now Mr. Kofi Asare, who's with the Africa Education Watch. Thank you so much for your time here on Newsnight. You've heard the concerns of the Conference of Heads of Assisted Schools. Going forward, what alternatives would you want government to bring up in terms of ensuring efficiency in the food supply chain to all senior high schools across the country?
Well, CHAS is government's closest ally and partner in the implementation of the free senior high school policy. The policy is succeeding because CHAS is managing and holding the fort in spite of all the challenges. So whenever CHAS raises issues, it behoves on government to give them a listening ear and not jettison them. The fact is that at the inception of the free senior high school program, government introduced a centralized procurement of food system with the aim of enjoying economy of scale. That was the intention of the connoisseurs of the program at conception. It's been 6 years. You've run the policy. It is standard practice that after there must be a midterm review of that system, because that system is a new system. Ascertain whether it is actually effective and efficient, and ascertain whether it is serving the intended objective at conception. That should be the normal thing. And that is what I think should be done. But you see, I don't see the commitment of the Ministry of Education to institute a review or an inquiry or an evaluation of the feeding mechanisms under the free senior high school. I don't see that happening, in the sense that if you look at the power dynamics carefully, the centralized procurement of food benefits the political class. The political class has taken over the procurement power from the schools and centralized it, and they are now controlling it. And we know those who are supplying food to the schools. So it will be difficult for the Ministry of Education or government, for that matter, this is beyond the ministry, for government to just admit that, okay, let's review the centralized procurement of food and see whether it is working well and how can be done to improve it. That discussion is not even the thing at all because of the immense, procurement benefits it brings to the political class. That is the reality of a power dynamic analysis.
And in all of this, Mr. Sari, it's clear that the ministry itself is in self-denial. You heard from the sector minister himself indicate that, quote, there's no school which has not been supplied with foodstuff.
But the reality is that the ministry is owing suppliers close to 470 million Ghana cedis. In July, it was about 340, and government said they were going to clear it. We are in October, and it's nearing 500 million. By the end of the year, we are going to hit 500 million. So denying the existence of challenges in the system doesn't in any way contribute towards solving them. I think what the ministry should do is that they should have a discussion with CHAS.
Right.
With the aim of improving system effectiveness and efficiency. We shouldn't take and trade positions because at the end of the day, I think CHAS's interest to ensure that the free scenario policy succeeds, just like the Ministry of Education or government then.
And in fact, we need to state that communique has been served. The Education Ministry will await a response officially from the Minister for Education. But there's more trouble in the education sector itself because in the public universities, the lecturers are not working. They're joined by the Teacher and Education Workers Union and two other unions who are accusing government of unilaterally varying their conditions of service. Specific reference here has been made to the off-campus fuel and vehicle maintenance allowances, which the group say government has failed to pay the amount agreed with to the unions. Isaac Donko is national chairperson of the Senior Staff Association of the University of Ghana.
Unfortunately, we don't want to get here, but we are now here. That wasn't the plan, but government is making it possible. And it's unfortunate that we are here finally. It's also unfortunate that government is taking the electoral decision to slash our salaries. And that is unfortunate. Now, today, we ask our members to stay at home. They shouldn't come to workplaces until further notice. And that's the order as I'm talking to you now.
What reasons did the government give for slashing the allowance?
The government did not give any reason. It just happened. They just issued a fiat that in September, those allowances to be slashed. And that's what they did.
And that's Isaac Donko, is national chairperson of the Senior Staff Association of the University of Ghana. Secretary of UTAG, University of Ghana chapter, Professor Ransford Champo, says the strike will only be called off if government reverses its decision.
They are not better than us. We taught them, and so they are not more than us in any way. It is just because for political reasons they have received appointment. But those of us who taught them, we can do better than them when we occupy similar positions. And so they should not be throwing their weight about by just writing letter, issuing fiat, and just giving commands here and there, simply because today you are occupying a very transient. They've always been disrespectful to us when it comes to engaging us. They've treated us with contempt, and they think that the teacher of yesteryears, who always felt that his reward will come from heaven, is not a teacher that they see now. The teachers who felt that, look, they would always have to be docile and they would always have to do yes sir, master. It's not the teacher who is teaching in the class now. I mean, now things have changed.
And that's the position of the UTAG University of Ghana chapter. You heard that Professor Ransford Champo. But there's another development because the University of Cape Coast branch of the same association, University Teachers Association of Ghana, has reached into its national leadership to allow them stay away from the strike. The University of Cape Coast is among a couple of universities in the country that's yet to vacate. In a statement signed by President of UCC branch, Dr. Samuel Bet Boidi Kusi, they assured the association of their support to all legitimate actions that will make government rescind its unilateral decisions. And the reason for which UTAG UCC chapter is explaining that they may not be joining that labor action is simply because of the academic calendar. The fact that students are on campus writing their exams, a reason for which they may not want to join the exercise for now. The Technical University Teachers Association of Ghana, TUTAC, is also endorsing that action embarked on by the University Teachers Association of Ghana and other labor unions to demand a review of the off-campus vehicle maintenance and fuel allowances. UTAG's action is necessary because of government's failure to present the terms of payment of the stated allowances as directed by the National Labour Commission. UTAG wishes actually to state that all the issues raised in UTAG's press statement are of mutual interest and therefore support the strike and will soon take the same action on these and other demands earlier submitted to government, which have not received the necessary attention. So that's the position of UTAG as they endorse the position of UTAG. We'll definitely monitor the developments and bring you some updates. But let's turn our attention to our pockets and what's happening to the economy, because some commercial drivers in Accra are equally piling pressure on their leadership to increase transport fares. In the last window, fuel prices have been increased by at least 10%. That's the latest, and this will mean that fuel prices have more than doubled since January 2022. Meanwhile, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, has tabled before the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council, GRTCC, a plan for transport fares to be increased by at least 30%. Ahead of the determination of that proposal, some commercial drivers are warning they will not accept anything less of that 30% demand.
Even we are not getting passenger. If you come here, you sleep here at least at times 4 days before we move. But if you are coming from Keta, you have to make truck draw. Even it doesn't reach the loading at the station. Before we buy food, we can't get anything. So we are suffering. They have to make increments for the fare for us. Now, if I feel 800 self, it doesn't full up. Yes, from in and out, from Keta to Accra, in and out, 1,000. But if you load here, you collect 700. You deduct this thing, loading food inside. Then before you reach house, you can't get anything. So we are suffering. Now we have to collect from Keta. We have to at least 60 Ghana.
In and out, supposing he's loading in and out, he can get about 880. Before this increase, they are buying fuel 600 Ghana cedis. They are buying fuel 600 Ghana cedis. How much is left? From 880, it's 280. How much is he going to give to the car owner? So actually, we are no more in business. We are only trying to survive. I pray that they maintain or either they reduce or maintain where it is till the Unitard is over.
Yes, reduce the fuel. Therefore, we are suffering. How come? We are suffering. They have to reduce the fuel. We will load from Akuse in and out. We buy fuel at first. We buy fuel at let me say 300. Now we are buying 450, 500. So how much are we going to give our car owner? Before, how much are we going to earn for ourselves, for the car maintenance, our wife and our children? We are suffering. So please, the government should do something about our fuel. The fuel is too much.
Well, so that's the passionate appeal from the drivers. But I want to bring in now Samuel Amwa, who's Communications Director for the GPRTU. Good evening to you, sir, and welcome to News Night.
Good evening.
Okay, so it's clear that the pressure is coming through, mounting from the grassroots of your organization, GPRTU. But I want you to take a listen to some passengers who are already unhappy over this plan by your group to increase transport fares.
It's too much because we are earning the same salary, everything is the same, but things keep on increasing. Meanwhile, nothing is going on in the country. So we will plead with them that the 50 cedis will be too much and that they should reduce it. Or we know that times are hard and the fuel prices are up, but they should also consider we, the customers, too.
I did not get your name.
Linda.
But Linda, you don't think your position is also insensitive to the work that they do, that they are buying more fuel, but they haven't increased transport fares in a long time?
It is, but we also as consumers or as customers, we are also suffering because we are earning the same salary and then we will have to pay more for services, which is also not fair. So it has to be a 50-50 affair on either side.
What would it mean for you as a passenger if this was increased?
It would be unfair as at now because I'm not prepared. I only have the old fare, and if they are to do it right now, it will go against me because I haven't budgeted for that.
Samuel, so yes, your clients, your customers, whichever way you may describe them, are unhappy about your pressure to increase these fares.
Yes, what I would say is rather unfortunate things are going this way. Not that we are not thinking about the clients, the passengers, we think about them seriously. That is the main reason why, way back we were supposed to increase this fares way back in July. We didn't do that up to this time, thinking that maybe things will be stabilized. The fuel prices will come down. That we will also think of increasing our own fares. But as of now, things are still going high. What we are saying is, yes, we do understand them. This is the business we also do. And then one cannot just buy a vehicle and decided to work with the vehicle at the close of the day or the close of the month. He or he will think of, his expectation is that he will get something, to live on. And for all this while, we have been working, and we don't gain anything. We have been sacrificing for all. We understand most of them, their salaries have increased. But the question is, we the drivers, we don't prepare before, facing the increment of the petrol product and the other that we use.
Okay, but here's the thing: we're having a bit of a challenge hearing you because we keep losing you intermittently. But while you address the lines, there's also the concern about the percentage you're asking for, 40%. That's on the high side.
Yes, I understand. That is why my explanation was that we are not using only fuel prices to do our calculations. The components we use to run our businesses the major ones are four. That is the fuel price, lubricants, spare parts, and then taxes. And all these things have gone high. From the time we had our 20% increment way back in May, by then the fuel price was 11.25. Up to now that the fuel price is 15.99, it has been increased for about 42%. And DDI has increased by 15%. Lubricants have been increased by 30%. That's why the dollar rate that we normally use it to check on the spare parts, prices has also gone high, so about 12 cedis. So these are the reason why things are going this way. And if we don't come out with this 40%, there is no way we can satisfy our clients. We can serve our clients as we used to do. So that is why things are going this way. So we are thinking that maybe the government can do something about it by at least bringing something down. And we are also disappointed a little bit with the government in such a way that looking at all things are going this way, then they also came back and increased DDLA taxes. Meaning all our cries that we are trying on them to just look up to something, some certain things for them to bring it down. They are not thinking of it.
That opportunity, that window would have presented itself today, where we understand there was a scheduled meeting between your side and that of government to try and find a middle ground on this. That meeting, we understand, has been rescheduled to Thursday, correct? And what are expectations going into the negotiations, and what would you not compromise on as you engage government on your demands?
Yes, thank you very much. Our expectation is that per our calculations, we think the 40% is what is going to help us to run our business. That is our expectation. We are not keen to compromise anything because I said earlier on that we should have increased it by 50%, and we are putting some things into consideration. That is why we have arrived at this 40%. So since this meeting, yes, it was supposed to happen today, but because of some challenges we faced, we had an emergency at the central region, and all our leadership rushed to that thing. That is why the meeting couldn't come on today. So hopefully, we are expecting that when we meet, then this 40%, I think the government have to agree on that, then we proceed.
And I'm grateful that you've been able to spend some time with us here on Newsnight. That's Samuel Amwa. He is a member of the National Communications Team for GPRTU. Tell us what you think about this. 40% demand is what the drivers are asking for. But you are on the receiving side. Share your experiences with us here on Newsnight. You're still with us. This bulletin is also live across affiliates in the country. But still to come, religious leaders are taking on chiefs who allow Galamsey to fester in their jurisdictions as they wage war against illegal mining, calling on chiefs to do more.
deleterious impact on our food and cash crops are so bad that some countries like Japan requires extra testing of our cocoa products before they can be accepted on their market. We have become living, dead, polluted, walking Ghanaians.
Stay with us as we bring you details as that group is lamenting the devastating impact of galamsey on the environment, saying Ghanaians have become living dead, polluted citizens. We'll bring all of that and more to you shortly, but now it's time for business. Pius Kojo is here.
11% oversubscription of Treasury bill sale, bad interest cost surge. Also coming up, Public Procurement Authority cast doubt on some findings published in the 2021 Auditor General's report. And also, Food and Beverages Association of Ghana joined Ghana Union of Traders Association, that's GUTA, to close their shops on Wednesday in protest of difficult economic conditions in the country. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business, Ghana Pay and Alliance Life.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information.
MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom. And my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHF, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Allianz Insurance since 1890. At Allianz Life Ghana, we have a wide range of life insurance packages to suit all pockets, from individuals, groups, associations, and businesses. We cover your employees, your funerals, pensions, children's education, and your future. Call us on 0302 267 892 or visit our website www.allianz-gh.com for more inquiries. Allianz Life. We secure your future.
Alande.
Ghana Pay Alande.
Hey, finally, Ghana Pay Alande.
Do more your way on Ghana Pay. Send and receive money at 0 transaction fees. Pay bills, buy airtime and data. Transfer money in and out of your bank account and so much more with Ghana Pay. Dial *707# to register for Ghana Pay or download the Ghana Pay app from the Play Store or App Store.
Alandio Alande. Ghana Pay Alande.
Ghana Pay. Your money, your way.
This service is powered by Gibbs.
Here is the planet's ultimate game.
The greatest prize in football is up for grabs from 20 November.
This is absolutely wonderful. Here's Mbappe! Oh my word! Ronaldo with the shot. Oh, it's got it! Messi! Oh my goodness! Sadio Mane! A goal by the African Footballer of the Year.
Experience every minute of all 64 matches of the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. Live on SuperSport, only on DSTV. Here for every fan.
First story, government achieved an 11% marginal oversubscription of its treasury bill sale, but at surging interest rates. That's according to the latest results published by the Bank of Ghana. Here is a Business Desk report.
According to the results, government secured a total of a little above 974 million from the sale of the short-term instrument against the target of 1.08 billion cedis. The government accepted all the bids tendered in, estimated at 1.08 billion cedis. Some market watchers may attribute the slight oversubscription of the financial instrument to a reduction in the targeted amount. But despite the oversubscription of the targeted amount, the government will spend more to repay the borrowed funds at maturity. Again, the increased appetite for borrowing by the government is crowding out the private sector from accessing financing. Whilst the 91-day T-bills went up by 0.43% to 31.39%, that of the 182-day T-bill also hit 32.23%. This year, the government is expected to spend 42 billion cedis to tax revenue as interest payments.
That was a Business Desk report. Now, the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana has served notice its members in the retail sector will on Wednesday join the Ghana Union of Traders Association in closing down shops in the capital in protest of what they describe as harsh economic environment. According to the group, this has become necessary due to government's failure to address issues affecting the operations. Samuel Agri is the Executive Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana.
Guta is going on strike, and as they are doing that, we are also doing the same, because everything that happens to them, we are suffering the same way. And ours is on a larger scale because of the kind of taxes that we pay. And therefore, if they are paying even 4% and they cannot stand the economic hardship, what about those who are paying over 20% for our trade? Nobody would want to take such a measure. But unfortunately, this has been the only way government can understand what is going on. We've done all effort to bring government on the table to discuss what measures we can take to remedy this situation. Unfortunately, government is not willing to meet any of us, and neither are they also making any pronouncement on what is going on and which solution or remedy they seek to take for us to get the relief that we want.
Samuel Agri is the Executive Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana. Now, the Public Procurement Authority has cast doubts on some of the findings published in the Auditor General's report. Responding to issues of several procurement infractions cited in the Auditor General's report, Chief Executive of the authority, Frank Mante, said, though a lot of the irregularities recorded in the report show a blatant disregard of the procurement laws, there are other findings that could be challenged in court. However, was quick to add that the authority is committed to ensuring that both public and private enterprises adhere to procurement laws. He has been speaking at the handing over ceremony of the Ghana Institute of Public Procurement and Supply.
So, you see, PP as an authority has not got any proscriptory powers. You see, we conduct annual assessment as well. Every year we conduct annual assessment on the previous year's procurement activities. So the findings are then made known to the heads of those entities, and they are expected to sort of resolve those issues within specific timelines. Now, I can't speak to the issues that Auditor General picked up. Some of them, one would say that, it's just a blatant disregard for the procurement rules. Others too, some of these cases might be taken to court, and it might come out as well that, the Auditor General's department probably didn't do a good job. So all those things are matters that will come up. But as far as PPA is concerned, we are committed to ensuring that public entities, private sectors, we all go strictly in accordance with the provisions of the law. Anything beyond that then becomes an issue for the entity to answer.
Frank Mante is the Chief Executive of the Public Procurement Authority. Moving on to some other stories we have for you by way of business, President of the Insurance Brokers Association of Ghana, Shaibu Ali, is upbeat the introduction of the new Insurance Act, which seeks to imprison importers who fail to buy marine cargo insurance for their goods, could go a long way to improve its uptake. The National Insurance Commission has revealed that out of about $45 billion worth of goods imported and exported annually, only 6% are insured locally. But according to Mr. Lee, the decision to move the punishment from merely fines to imprisonment through the new act could see marine cargo insurance overtaking motor insurance in terms of gross written premiums.
The importers were happy to pay the fines and walk away. So this law now says that if you import without insuring with a local insurer, you can go to prison up to 3 years. So this is going to put some amount of urgency in the importers to look at insuring locally initially. So once this is being done, we expect a lot more activity on the marine front. So we need to position our employees, our staff, to be able to understand marine insurance so that they can educate the public and they can underwrite the business as it comes.
Shaibu Ali is the president of the Insurance Brokers Association of Ghana. Before we go, Oil Market Leader Goyle, as part of its corporate social responsibility, has donated 2 vehicles to the Ghana Prison Service. The vehicles include a 375 Mercy Ferguson tractor and a Toyota Hilux pickup. According to the Group CEO and Managing Director of Goyle, Kwame Sei Prempe, the gesture seeks to support the food production needs of the service.
I believe personally, indeed, when I was Deputy Attorney General, I led a team. We were trying to negotiate prison reforms. And so anytime I pass through where your farms are, I feel happy because I believe that that's better than the overcrowded prisons that we have in this country. So God decided to open our doors to you. That's why we decided to present this massification tractor for the farms, a pickup so that you can manage the farms. So we in God believe that we are doing our duty to our nation. Every Ghanaian counts, whether it's in prison or anywhere, it counts. They are also Ghanaians.
Managing Director of Goyle, Kwame Sei Prempe, ending business on Newsnight with me, Pius Kojo. Back to you, blessed.
And in fact, they are buying the cars. It's a good gesture. We'll ask them as well to try and work on their their charges because this 40% is coming at a higher side for many consumers out there. But thank you, Pius Kojo, for joining us with business. You're listening to Newsnight to enjoy 99.7 FM and affiliates across the country. And don't forget that it's time now for our campaign against illegal mining. Join our call to action with the hashtag No to Galamsey. And tonight I want to tell you about this. Religious leaders are also coming down heavy on chiefs and traditional authorities who allow illegal mining or galamsey to thrive within their jurisdiction. Following Joy News' latest Hotline documentary on galamsey, the fight against the menace has become topical, with religious leaders from all faiths joining the fray. Last week, the leaders visited some galamsey sites, and today they've been addressing a news conference on some of the emerging matters. President of the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, Reverend Professor Paul Manso, indicated that traditional leaders and security personnel who allow galamsey to thrive must stop.
Some traditional leaders are also responsible for allowing such ecological destructions in their jurisdictions. We call on such leaders to desist from this illegality and use their authority to ban galamsey in their domains to avoid further destruction of our natural resources. We, however, wish to commend those traditional chiefs who have courageously resisted galamsey practices in their territories, for which reason there is no single mining activity allowed in some parts of Ghana. One major threat of galamsey to our country is that it has prevented many youths from going to school. Even though we may not see the immediate negative implication of this, it will definitely have an adverse impact on the economy and peace of our nation in the near future. It is our prayer and hope that Ghanaians will stand up against galamsey and preserve our environment from further destruction.
And that's the president of the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, Reverend Professor Paul Frimpong. So, president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference, Archbishop Philip Name, is also concerned. He's describing galamsey as an environmental coup which deeply concerns the religious leaders, prompting this latest action.
For many years now, our sovereign country, Ghana, has been witnessing under our very naked eyes the saddest environmental coup d'etat ever unleashed upon our nation, heralding a programmed and complete ecological disaster or destruction. The religious leaders in Ghana, Christian Council of Ghana, Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, the Office of the National Chief Imam, and the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission Ghana National Association of Charismatic and Christian Churches, and others, are deeply concerned about the devastation that illegal mining galamsey has caused and continue to cause our nation, and the associated negative health and socio-economic effects on our country now and in the future.
Well, the eminent clergy has more. He's describing as appalling what they saw during the visit to some mining sites and describe as evil and corrupt the acts of persons involved in the act.
On our various pastoral and social visits to our people in their localities, as well as our many travels across the country, we see, denounce, and cry over the wicked and greedy destruction of our forest resources, cutting down of cash crops on a massive scale, degrading of our lands and soils, and polluting our river and water bodies with mining chemicals like mercury, chlorine, and cyanide, thereby killing aquatic life, including fishes. Our ecosystems are being destroyed irreversibly. Our soils are contaminated with poisonous chemicals, which are very difficult, if not impossible, to clean up. Our people are drinking dangerously polluted water. Some of our mission hospitals are recording increased strange diseases. Some women are reportedly being treated for increased cases of cervical and uterus.
And that's the president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference, Archbishop Philip Name. And there's also, still on Galamsey, a message from the National Chief Imam. His spokesperson, Sheikh Arimi Al-Shaibu, expressed worry about recent threats by the European Union to ban agricultural products from Ghana, including cocoa, linked to Galamsey.
The deleterious impact on our food and cash crops are so bad that some countries like Japan requires extra testing of our cocoa products before they can be accepted on their market. The European Union recently threatened to place an embargo on some of our agricultural products, and we are not certain about the future, which already looks gloomy. Marine life, our livestock, birds, insects, and game reserves all depend on and drink and use these highly polluted waters also. Their meat and edible vegetation all end upon our dining tables. We have become living, dead, polluted, walking Ghanaians. We need to rise up and confront the situation to save our nation. We wish to remind Ghanaians of our mandate to keep the environment and be responsible stewards of same. We therefore call on individuals, civil society, religious and traditional institutions, and all other well-meaning Ghanaians to stand up to the challenge and work to preserve our environment from the menace of Galamsey. We admonish opinion leaders and the youth in our community to speak up and report illegal mining activities in their localities to the relevant authorities.
So that's the message from the National Chief Imam on the menace of illegal mining. And for those of you who are listening to us now, just join that hashtag No to Galamsey. We'll bring you updates when we return. But it's time now for sports. And Musbao is here with the latest.
Pinto has been speaking on the Ghana Premier League suspension, and he says that the suspension is going to affect the welfare of the clubs and players. You recall that the Ghana Premier League was suspended following a court injunction which is expected to be heard on Thursday. Second part of it is expected to be heard on Thursday, and he says if the league continues to be suspended, then expect even some of the players to run away from Ghana.
Looking at teams that are looking for sponsorships to come, they have a media right, they have a lot of maybe betting companies coming to invest their money in the clubs, and then seeing all this is happening in football, the delaying and court issues, it becomes a bit problem and then dramatic for a lot of clubs who are working very well to bring their brand and work as a football professional football clubs. It's a very difficult moment for such clubs who are pushing, especially like I did mention, chasing a lot of contracts, a lot of sponsorships, and some of the clubs have a sponsorship deals proposal in the locker, or they're about to sign a deal for the club to at least support them running the football club. So when this incident happened and such thing happened, it caused a lot of damage to the club.
So that's Joseph Pinto, former Black Stars defender there. And later tonight on Joy News and Joy Prime at 8:10, we have an exclusive with board member of Accra Heart of Oak, Vincent Odotai Soa, and he'll be speaking on recent development in the camp of Accra Heart of Oak. You recall, Blessed, that Accra Heart of Oak got kicked out of the CAF Confederations Cup on Sunday, and we understand that some board members were attacked after the game. And we understand that Vincent Odotai Soa's car was also attacked there. So we'll be hearing from him on Joy News.
I will be on the lookout for that, just to hear his account on that sad incident. But thank you for giving us the latest in the world of sports. That's my colleague Musbao bringing us sports. But for now, there's also the need to talk about the imminent deactivation of SIM cards. The minority in Parliament is tonight warning Communications Minister Esla Osu-Ekufo that she may face some major legal setbacks if she proceeds with the plans to deactivate SIM cards progressively. In her latest statement to the press, Sector Minister explains that any SIM which is not duly registered with the Ghana card in accordance with the NCA directives cannot be activated on any network in the country. Going forward, Esla Osu-Ekufo has directed all SIM cards to be deactivated progressively, while persons who have completed at least stage 1 of the registration process to be spared up until October. But the minority is warning of some dire consequences for the minister. Let's bring through Samuel Natejosh, who's ranking member on the Communications Committee in Parliament. Good evening to you, thank you for your time. What's there in terms of sanctions for the minister now that she's ready to face you squarely? She says she's deactivating progressively.
Well, good evening to your listeners. The minister can keep shifting the goalposts and speaking fanciful English, but the facts are simple. She cannot deactivate anybody's SIM card at the end of October simply because she herself is a lawyer. And when the NCA was claiming that there was no case in court, we told them to tell the Ghanaian people the truth. On the 13th of this month, the NCA, represented by Gary Nimako, who is their lawyer, and their Director of Legal Affairs, Dr. Opoku Eduse, were in court. They were there to respond to our injunction case that had been filed. The judge said he hadn't read the processes, and so he was adjourning till the 10th of November. However, being a lawyer and with the counsel that she has, she knows the implication of an injunction motion being served on you, and she knows that any action she takes would lead her to be cited for contempt.
George, I just want some clarity on this. So which injunction specifically are you referring to in this case?
An injunction motion was moved in court. Remember, we filed a case for 9 Ghanaian citizens who had applied for the Ghana card, and had not been given the Ghana card as at yet. You remember that when we filed that case, within 48 hours, the NIA started calling them and offering them VIP services to offer them their Ghana card. But that case is still pending. And then he appeared in court to respond to that case. The judge said he hadn't read the case, the brief yet, and the processes, and asked that we adjourn till the 10th, where he will hear the substantive case and the injunction motion. But it is important that we make some critical points here. The NCA's own release that the minister is saying points to the fact that this whole exercise is a colossal waste of our time and will be studied in public policy schools as the most useless waste of state resources and the time of citizens. Why do I say it's a useless waste of our time? The minister, in her own statement, admits that the registration she is doing is flawed because agents and vendors have registered more than 10 SIM cards using one Ghana card during the process. So it shows you how inefficient and incompetent the minister is. Because if you say a Ghanaian should not be able to register more than 10 SIM cards with one Ghana card, and the system you put in place does not put the ability to prevent people from registering more than 10 SIM cards, you are now asking vendors and agents who have created pre-registered SIMs and are telling them to deactivate them because they'll be prosecuted for 5 years. How is it that the process we were told will clean up the SIM card registry has now created pre-registered SIMs? What we told you that this minister is clueless, incompetent, and taking Ghanaians on a completely needless frolic and waste of our time. People said we didn't like the minister. Now she is issuing warnings and saying people will go to jail for 5 years. Your process that should clean up the SIM card register has created more fraudulent SIM cards in the system. So on what basis is he going to deactivate anybody's SIM card? Because she herself is admitting that there are SIM cards now that have been pre-registered based on her process. If this was a proper country, the minister would be facing prosecution for causing financial loss to the state, and she shouldn't be holding her office as Minister of State because she's shown us she's incompetent and not fit to hold such a sensitive office.
And we await the fallout from the court proceedings, but we're grateful for your time here on Newsnight. That's Sam Nate George, ranking member of the Communications Committee in Parliament. And if you missed all of the action today, let's bring you a recap. And it's sad to tell you about it, but I still need to break that news to you. The pride of Central Region's Coast, St. Augustine's College, outclassed the glory of the coast. That's the Chimota School this afternoon to qualify for the quarterfinals of the National Science and Maths Quiz. At the end of the contest, St. Augustine's College had 48 points. Islamic Science SHS had some 37 points, and we also have a Chimota School coming through with 34 points. Well, the gentleman from Ogasco relishing the project of an all-boys school grand finale without their arch rivals. That's in Fanspeem School. Maxwell Agbagba captured all of the excitement after they were declared winners today.
From St. Augustine's College say they are the pride of the Central Region's Coast. And 10 minutes ago, they outclassed Achimota School, the glory of the coast. In the contest that also featured Islamic Science Senior High School, St. Augustine's College carried the day. Second school, Islamic Science Senior High School, and then the third school, Achimota School. Action. What's the feeling like right now?
It's very nice. The feeling is so nice. Last year we came and Chemo eliminated us. This year we are coming with full game. And Achimota is no match. Achimota is no match. And we've fished them out. And they are in Punam. And then Punam. And then
Islamic Senior High School family. You were second in this contest. In that you beat Achimota College, Achimota School, I should say. What's the feeling like for you guys?
Right now.
What's the feeling like for you?
Okay, we are not happy at all.
You're not happy at all?
But we thank Allah. Everything goes the way Allah wants it. So
okay.
Yes, we thank God for it.
Sure. So we just had a contestant from Islamic Science Senior High School.
And we say congratulations going out to St. Augustine's College for winning that contest, and also to the others. Bishop Herman College, which also won earlier in the day, will definitely be on the lookout for the next phase of the competition. And that's all we have for you here on Newsnight. Enjoy 99.7 FM and affiliates across the country. My name is Blessed Sogah, and we wrap up with this message from Walanyo Nakwetia. He says that Galamsey is causing us harm than good. Therefore, Therefore, let us all do our part as responsible citizens to alarm in our communities if we spot something going on. By so doing, we can fight together to save our environment and water bodies from destruction. And you need to join that hashtag online. It's hashtag no to Galamsey. Log on to myjoyonline.com for the latest.